Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's Ant. Welcome back to another YouTube review. Sorry for being AFK. I say that every single video, but I have a lot of personal things going on, as I'm sure we all do. But anyways, without further ado, I present to you my new current little glove wall, right? So I'm gonna give you guys like a short little tour before I get into this review. This is pretty much most of the gloves I have. The rest are kind of over there in that little corner. So yeah, this is at home base, aka Roxy's boxing gym. So if you guys don't know, I'm actually a boxing coach here at Roxy's boxing gym in Sugar Land, Texas. So basically one-on-one clients, whoever needs a little bit of extra help in their boxing, they come here to improve, okay? But anyways, where I was going with this is today we're gonna be doing a review on the Everlast Powerlock OG sparring / training gloves, okay? So if you've seen my TikTok review on this, there's a couple of thoughts I have on it. And at first, when I first got them in the mailbox, I was very disappointed, but we'll get into that in a second. So the way I'm gonna structure this video is, number one, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the design. Number two, I'm gonna give you the price / my thoughts on the price. Number three, I'm gonna give you a review on the build quality / the fit. And finally, I'm gonna give you my overall thoughts and my rating on them, okay? Without further ado, let's go ahead and pick up these gloves for you guys. I'm also gonna go ahead and just turn the camera. I'm gonna put the gloves on, hit the bag a little bit, just if you've ever wanted to see what they look like, during training, since I get a lot of questions for that. I'm not gonna go through the process of like properly lacing them up because I don't feel like putting on the lace and loops and everything. But just like I said, that'll be something that we get to here in a second, okay? So here we have them, the Everlast Powerlock OGs, okay? So when this was first announced, I was super excited to get my hands on these, like super excited. Before the price was released, I was hoping that it wouldn't be as high as it ended up being, just because of I guess the success and the price points of the previous Powerlock models, the Powerlock 1 and the Powerlock 2, okay? And when I refer to these gloves, I'm referring to the leather versions, okay? So there's actually two versions of this glove. There's the leather version, which is this one, and then there's like the plastic version, which you can get at like Academy. Walmart doesn't really carry the Powerlocks, but Dick's Sporting Goods, you kind of get the point, right? Those are the plastic versions. Those come in Velcro only, okay? However, there is a Velcro version for the leather, so just make sure, if you want the more durable ones, just keep that in mind whenever you're shopping around for these, okay? So yeah, looking at the design here, this is absolutely a freaking cool glove. I will say this, the first time I put it on and like I looked at it on video, I was like, dang, like this glove looks kind of big on my hand. Because it was just like more round than I was used to, right? Most of the gloves, at least nowadays, if we look at, Log Boxing, if we look at Rival, Spartacus, they're a little more like downsized in this department, okay? So it did catch me off guard a little bit at first. I was kind of like, I don't really like the way that these look too much. But then the more I started using them, the more I started sparring in them, hitting the bag with them, I was like, you know what? Like, these actually look freaking really cool, right? It gives you that, I guess, that Everlast, man. That Everlast logo just looks super sick, very classic. Can't really go wrong. It's been a logo that's been around for freaking years and years, so it just looks really cool. The inside palm, as you can see here, is white, okay? The laces don't come like this. These are the stock laces, the black ones, but I just kind of relaced these a little bit different. Shout out to Frankie for the suggestion. It just makes it a little easier to close, basically. So yeah, the inside is white right here. The thumb is white, so it's a nice little touch. I will admit, I do like what they did with the color schemes. Just away from the traditional all black, all blue, all white. I do like that they did this, to be honest, because you get a little bit of both in each. One thing I've always loved about the Powerlocks, the OGs and these, is the yellow tag for the glove size. Man, I don't know, it just stands out, looks super clean. I've always really liked that about the Everlast Powerlocks. The trademark right there, Powerlock on the thumb. So at first glance, this legit looks like the Powerlock OGs. It really does. But the key differences are Instead of having a logo patched on, this has the newer old school logo like embedded in there. If you can kind of see that, it's not a patch, you can't scratch it off or anything, but it's just kind of like embedded onto the leather, which is really, really cool. Engraved, I guess, is the word you can use there as well. It's really, really cool, so I like that. It has the traditional trademark Powerlock right there on the grip bar, and then this part I've always found really cool as well, the choice of champions written along the outside wrist area right here. So overall, aesthetically, this is a very good glove. Although I will admit, it took me a little while to actually like the appearance of it in person, right? Because in person, I got them and I was like, dang, these are kind of big. But like I said, you know, you wear them in, you use them, you kind of start to, you look past certain things and you end up actually liking certain things, okay? So before we move on to everything else, which I am very excited to talk about, I am gonna go ahead and just freaking, you know, hit the bag a little bit with these just so you can see. Just because I'm sure you want to see a little bit of footage. Let me fix the camera here real quick. I'm sure you want to see a little bit of footage. I'm not going to do super long, maybe going to do like 30 seconds, something like that. It is like currently 6 in the morning. I just finished training, but you know, people like to see what they look like on hand, and I completely understand. I'm the same way. So let's do it, okay? Let's see. Let me put the camera a little bit further back just so you can get a bigger field of view here. I hope you can see everything. Yeah, you should be able to. Okay. Like I said, I'm not doing the whole proper, you know, lace thing. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the bag so you can see what it looks like. Okay, Everlast, Powerlock, OGs, right there. Pretty nice look. Like I said, at first, they were a little big, at least I felt like, but then started using them, and I was like, you know what, these aren't too bad. And actually, like I said, I'll get to that, but yeah, this is what they look like on hand. I don't know if some of you feel like they look a little big. At first, I did, I guess, like, in proportion to my head. Like when I have like that fist made in the glove, you see how it's kind of like round. Anyways, let's get to it, okay? So the next thing that we're gonna go ahead and cover is the price of these gloves, okay? So this is where I personally think these gloves lose points, okay? In how much they are charging for these gloves, okay? And it's not because they're bad. I actually really like the gloves now. But I just think like everything is so freaking expensive. It's funny. I should change my name to like freaking everything's expensive, because I just realized with Fly, with what other glove? With Guerreros, like I'm saying everything's like super expensive, right? But just to be honest, like these are retail. These retail at $200. I'll go ahead and put it right here with all the features and everything. $200. It has, I believe, 4 different colorways. They have this one, they have red and black, they have white and black. So basically this is inverted. The inside is black and then the outside is white. Those look super nice. They actually have like a baby blue, so it is 5 colors. The baby blue ones are super nice. I gotta admit, I was almost going to get those. But then I realized I don't really have a lot of black gloves at the time, so I was like, let me just go ahead and get black classic, right? You can't really go wrong. Let's say worst case I don't like them, I can sell them black, you know, easy to sell. $200 for these. I just don't think that's a great price for these, right? Because when you look at taxes and shipping, depending on where you're at, you're paying anywhere from realistically $220 to $240 US dollars, which is almost $300 for an Everlast glove. Now, I'm not saying Everlast is not allowed to charge, you know, $300 for their gloves, because they've always been below that. That's not what I'm saying. But realistically, this glove is not worth freaking nearly $300, nearly $250. It's definitely not, right? Not because it's not good. This is actually an amazing glove, right? But to just double the price from the previous lines, well, not the previous lines, the same line, but just the previous models is freaking nuts. Now, I will say this, the economy right now, everything's expensive. So, I mean, like, I really don't know how much it costs them to make a glove like this, right? But I would imagine it's definitely not near $200. Probably maybe, you know, it's Everlast. They get a lot of business. So maybe like $50 to make something like this, max 70, which if I really don't believe it's that high, to be honest, right? These are made in India, if I recall correctly. I believe somewhere on the tag it says made in India. I ripped the tag off, but these are manufactured in India, which is different than, you know, the typical Pakistan, you know, gloves that we get to see with, like, you know, Rival, Spartacus, MK1, you know, so many, Pro Max, you know, Adams. A lot of these gloves are made in Pakistan. So this is a little different. This is actually made in India. So this is a little different than most gloves in terms of padding and feel and everything. But anyways, back to what I was saying. $200 for this is a big ask. And to be honest, I was like, when I got the gloves, I was so underwhelmed in response to how much I paid, right? Because for me, after shipping and taxes, it was close to like $230. So when I got these in and I put them on my hand, I was like, no freaking way. No freaking way. I just paid like $230 for these. So I was like a little salty at first, I'm not gonna lie. And I'll get into that here in a second. But I don't think $200 is an amazing price for this. I would have been super happy paying like $150 after shipping and taxes. So if you can get this on discount, then okay, you know, fair game, especially considering prices have raised, you know, $100 from the previous models to $150. I think that would have been super great, super fair, to be honest. Now, will they still sell? 100%. Will they sell as fast? Definitely not, right? They could make more sales if this was like $150. Because I think this is a glove that people will actually benefit from and need, because it's freaking amazing, right? But like I said, for the price I paid, I was very underwhelmed, okay? The $200 price point, I just think it could have been like $150, would have been much better. Like I said, I'm not Everlast. I don't understand the reasonings for it. I'm just a consumer, and I ended up paying it anyway, so they win at the end, right? But yeah, so the price, final thoughts on that, $200, $230 after tax and shipping. Do I think that's worth it? I don't think so, no. I think if you can get these on sale, maybe like $150, maybe secondhand if they're in great condition for like $100, then, you know, go for it, right? But definitely wouldn't pay $230 for these again, okay? That's just me. But let's get on to the next thing, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and go over the build quality / the fit on these, okay? So, recurring theme here. I have relatively small hands, okay? This is, let me see what I can compare it to. Small hands, right? Look at my face, can kind of cover my face. There you go, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and put the glove on. This is what the glove looks like on hand, right? This is the palm side, right here. This is the back side, okay? My fingers do reach all the way to the end, but that's if I put my hand in there. If I just slide the glove on, they reach maybe a couple centimeters from the tip of the, you know, the leather right here, the finger pocket. So it actually fits pretty nice, but here's what I want to share. This is where I was very disappointed at first, okay? The first time you put these gloves on, the lining of these gloves feel almost plasticky. I'm gonna put this next to the mic so you can kind of hear what I'm referring to here. It has like a plastic bag sound, not the feel of a plastic bag, a little bit, very tiny. And when I say that, I don't mean the actual plastic. I just mean the way, like, you know, you scrunch up a plastic bag, it kind of like creases and stuff like that. You get a tiny bit of that, but very minimal, right? But that's that plastic bag feel that I was referring to when I put these on. So I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, you know, what did I just put on? So here's where it redeems itself. The more I started using this glove, sparring in it, breaking it in, it completely gets rid of that, at least for me. And this whole hand compartment, everything here, I don't get that feel anymore. It's actually super soft, like the lining. It's very great. Like I said, it just has that plasticky noise and then like creasing I guess, attribute to it. Like it creases a little bit, right? So yeah, kind of funny, right? I put it on. I was like, what the heck, bro? I just paid $230 for a glove that sounds like a plastic bag, okay? Another thing is, at first, these gloves were a tiny bit stiff, right? A tiny bit, but these broke in relatively quickly, you know, to be honest, compared like with the use that I've had with them to how fast they broke in. I think it's a great period. When I say break in, I mean the finger compartment, hand compartment expands, you know, relatively easy to open that glove. And I have small hands, right? So if you have medium to bigger hands, I think you're gonna have fun with this, right? Just being able to open that glove. Okay, but yeah, overall, it's a good fit. It's a really nice fit, like especially when you go ahead and pull the laces super tight around the wrist, cinch the wrist super tight. This is what it looks like, hugs the wrist. You can go ahead and open that glove. It does for me, you know, when I open the glove, kind of go up, right? So that's the only downfall, but that's not the glove, that's just me having small hands and everything, okay? So yeah, the quality of this glove, the fit of it is very nice. It's not overly snug when you get it out of the package. It's not overly large either. It's just kind of like right in the middle, kind of a good place to be. And then depending on how often you use it and how big your hands are, you're gonna break it in relatively quickly, okay? So it's a good fit, I will admit that. Another thing is like when you, dang, I can't speak today. It's 6 a.m. I usually film these at like 7, okay? Go ahead, have a field day. When you lace these up and you cinch them around the wrist during sparring, it just feels nice. Like it just feels like a good glove. It feels very secure. You feel very protected. It's a rather big glove for you know, a 16 ounce. Not as big as a fly, but definitely not as small as a rival, right? So in proportion to my head, there you go. When you have these gloves on during sparring, you can go ahead, boom, catch that punch right here. And yeah, it's a good fit. It's a good fit. The lining isn't necessarily as soft as like, it's a little bit softer than the rival lining, but it's a little bit of a different texture. So that's like microfiber. I couldn't really tell you what this is, to be honest. I'm not too good with the names of the materials, but it does use the EverDry technology that they just started to implement. Maybe that's why it has that weird little plasticky sound, but that's pretty much the lining right there. The wrist size is very good. It's not overly big, right? Right now it's unlaced, so I can pull this up, but if the gloves are laced, you wouldn't really be able to pull that up unless you're intentionally, you know, trying to rip it open or something. So it's secure. It's secure, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's a secure glove for a 16 ounce, okay? The hand compartment is very comfortable. The finger pockets right here are very comfortable. The thumb, this is a lot of people have issues with their thumb. I haven't had a single issue with my thumb, jamming my thumb. And I really think that's due to what you're wearing, like how big your wraps are, if your wraps are loose or not, and how you punch, right? Because if the glove is very loose inside, you kind of get that thing where your hand's back here, but the surface is over here. So you hit first, and then your hand travels after, and then you end up like jamming your thumb into the edge, right? So just make sure whenever you put on your glove is like fully all the way in there. Like my hand is like right here, right? And then my fingers pretty much where the glove should be. That's where my hand is. Try to get your hand all the way in there, right? Because if you don't, you get that sensation to where your hand's like back here, this hits first, then your hand goes, and then you freaking, you know, you jam your thumb and stuff like that. I've had that happen like once, okay, but not really often. I don't really have any issues. But I could imagine this, my thumb is at the end, so if you have big thumbs, I can definitely see this being potentially an issue, right? That's just me. The position of it is good. It's not like back here, right? The thumb is actually like right here, which is good, right? If you're making a fist, this is kind of where your thumb naturally sits. Boom, right there. The punch surface, this is what I like, man. It's very, very malleable. What I mean by that is like, it doesn't just stay like this, okay? It's not overly round, like freaking like this. I hate gloves like that. It feels super awkward hitting the bag. It's like malleable, so when you boom, punch that, and punch it on this side just so you can see, boom. You see how it like kind of compresses the padding, the glove kind of shapes to where, you know, you're impacting, where you're hitting. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that because it feels it feels like you can actually feel your knuckles. It feels proper when you hit that punch. It feels very satisfying. It doesn't feel like you have like a torpedo right here, like a knife, right? And then when you hit the glove, it's like you're hitting with your knocking knuckles. If you've seen videos, there's some gloves that are very like sharp, and then you end up hitting the bag like this. Horrible. I hate gloves like that. But yeah, this doesn't do that. So it compresses very nicely, as you can see right there, boom. So you can land accurate punches, have a good sensation when you're punching the bag. I don't know. I like that about this a lot, okay? Now, the breaking in process and the padding. This is foam padding, okay? So it's not horsehair, it's not anything like that. I don't believe Everlast has ever used horsehair in any of their training gloves. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure they haven't, right? I want to say maybe the MX training gloves, but even then I believe those were just foam as well. So this is foam as well, but this is like a medium soft foam. So if I take the glove off and I go ahead and squeeze it, right? See, like you can it's very malleable, and I like that a lot, right? But here's the thing. Here's where it really surprises me. The foam doesn't really wear down, and I think that's the C3 foam technology that they've really marketed on this glove. Maybe that's possibly why this glove is more expensive. I'm not too well versed on that, so I won't speak on it. But essentially, what I can tell you is that this foam is going to last you a long time. And it's very malleable. It's not super stiff. It doesn't wear down, as I'm sure like maybe the Everlast Powerlock 1 and maybe Powerlock 2 padding. It's very malleable though and durable. So I can definitely see this being like one of the reasons maybe why it's so pricey compared to the previous models. But the padding in this glove is great. Like it's great. It's great padding. This is amazing padding, to be honest. I'm even willing to say that. This is amazing padding. Why? It's durable. Number two, it's sturdy. Like when you hit the bag, it's cushiony, it's protection. But it's not like a ringside puffy or ringside cushiony to where it just feels freaking awkward to hit the bag. No, this is it compresses. Like it does what it needs to do. It protects you, but it compresses so that you can actually feel your punch placement properly. And then the final thing is malleable. So to me, this is amazing padding, to be honest. This is amazing padding. I would definitely love to learn a little bit more about that C3 foam, so I'm going to have to do some research on that after. But yeah, so build quality / the fit. I think it fits great, to be honest. Like I said, at first I thought it was a little big. I did not like the little plastic bag kind of sound / feeling at first. It felt very cheap, which is why I was like $200. But after wearing it, after breaking it in, that kind of solved the problem for me. The padding is great, very easy to open. So yeah, this is the Powerlock OG, right? That's my review on the build quality / fit. Now, my final thoughts and rating on this glove. I would go ahead and rate this glove a solid, very solid 7.5 out of 10. Okay, 7.5. If you watch my my YouTube reviews, I'm not very generous with reviews just because there's always ceiling for improvement. I don't want to give this 8 out of 10 and winnings like a 10 out of 10, because even those are not a 10 out of 10 for me. Okay, that's just my opinion. But yeah, so I would give these a solid 7.5 to 8 out of 10 max. That's really good. That's a really good rating. If you think about it, that's like it's like a 75%. Okay, which there's no 100% glove for me. There's mostly like 75 to 80%. So that's on the higher end for me. Okay, if you really think about it, 7.5 to 8 is on the higher end for me. And then you have certain gloves that are like a 6, 5, 7, around there, right? 7.5. I'll be so generous as to give it an 8. 8 because of the build quality and the fit. That's the biggest redeeming factor for this glove. It's so durable and it's so comfortable after you break it in, and the padding is absolutely great. Okay, that's the redeeming factor for it. $200, however, is the reason I won't give it anything higher than that, because this glove is a little expensive for what you're getting, which is basically just a slightly improved version of the previous Powerlock models. It's not like extremely different. It pretty much looks the same. They just fixed the padding, which the padding was kind of not durable on the last gloves. But to charge an extra $100 for that, I don't think is the right move there. But that, like I said, I'm not Everlast. They have their reasons, and I'm still supporting. I freaking bought the gloves. But yeah, so 7.5 to 8 out of 10 on the Everlast Powerlock OG. I'm gonna go ahead and put it under the light just so you can get a little bit of a better view. I like them. I really do. Like I said, at first it took me a little while for them to grow on me, but now that I've used them for a couple months now, I've sparred in them and everything, I like these. These are definitely one of my go-tos amongst the many that you see here. So yeah, I know I've been getting a lot of questions for you guys about certain gloves that you guys want me to review. And trust me, I wish I had like all the money in the world to review every single glove as soon as it comes out. But it is something I will take into consideration. Obviously, you just kind of have to make do with what I have, right? Got to review everything that I have first and then maybe sell some or get some new ones in the future, okay? But the next video I'm probably going to do is going to be Prolast PG training gloves. I've been putting that one off for a while. The Lock Boxing, those, I really enjoy those. The Adams, I'm gonna tell you right now, those are kind of whack. And then the Promex, which is, it's been around forever, but they just made a newer model. So yeah, I'm gonna get around to those. I'll make myself a challenge. I'll probably do it next week, okay? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my YouTube video. I hope you guys have an amazing day. If you guys have any questions, if you guys have any thoughts, did you end up buying this glove? If so, what did you think about it? Did you feel the same way as I did, with $200 being maybe too much of an ask for what you're getting? Or do you think that's a fair price point because of the improved padding and then just the name behind it and the economy and everything? So yeah, those are my thoughts. I think 150 could have been a better price, but I can keep rambling on if I keep going all day. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Have an amazing day. God bless you all. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.